Moms, we would do anything to keep our kids safe and healthy. But what if I told you that some of the biggest threats to your child with asthma could be lurking in your home? Today, I'm going to reveal these hidden triggers and show you how to make your home a safe haven for your little ones. Before I continue, you're probably thinking, what about cigarette smoke? Isn't that bad? Absolutely, it's bad. And the reason that I don't have it in my top 5 is because I think it's been very well covered with the media that cigarette smoke is horrible for children with asthma. Things that we have to do in maintaining our home is clean. I don't like cleaning. I like to find as many shortcuts as I can. But since I have a child with asthma, there's certain things that I have to pay attention to. And I've learned some systems that work for me that make it minimal. So to start with, we have dust mites. Dust mites, basically just dust that you see around the house. You see the little specks floating around the air when the light shines in just right. Or if you're neglectful, like I can sometimes be, you see it building up on your furniture, your wood furniture, your television screen, even your computer or your work desk. I try to spend most of my time making sure that my son's room is clear of these top 5. The rest of the house, yes, it is important to me, but I can't do everything all the time, and I would not expect you to either. But paying attention to these top 5 and knowing that they exist, here's some things that you can do. You want to minimize it by wiping the dust with a damp rag. That is the simplest way to get rid of it. And by doing that, you're minimizing it because you're not just brushing it around the house. It is easy if you use one of those Swiffers or dust rags that all you're doing is just pushing it around the house, and then it's just going to land somewhere else. You don't want to do that. You want to capture it and you want to get rid of it. Some people will vacuum up their dust, and that is perfectly fine. Make sure you're using a vacuum with a HEPA filter if you do that. But I prefer the simple method of just taking a clean rag, making it damp, and dusting with that. I try to avoid microfiber. It is very common to clean with microfiber because it does trap in dirt and dust, but microfiber is also made of tiny plastic. And those plastics will release into the air over time. They will also release in your washing machine and get back in the environment. Vacuum often. That will help suck up any dust that does get settled by the wind or moving around, because dust collects everywhere. It's not just the surfaces we see it in or the air that it's floating. It collects in our carpets. It collects in our clothes. It collects on our couches. Anything that's fabric. You have your curtains. And in particular, to minimize dust, the seasons that you open your windows, you want to make sure that you vacuum your screens well before that season begins, so that the fresh air that you're bringing in is not blowing in outdoor pollen and other things that can contribute to the dust within your home. The second thing that I have on our list of hidden factors would be pet dander. A lot of families think that once their child is diagnosed with asthma, that they need to get rid of their pets. And I'm here to tell you that is not true. Some kids are very severe and it might be necessary, but it's not always the case. We've learned to keep the animals out of my son's room, so it's not a trigger for him when he sleeps at night. And then these other tricks that I've learned around the house to help maintain pet dander have minimized his triggers. But using these tricks, I've been able to minimize his reaction to when the animals are around him. First of all is we vacuum weekly and we kind of alternate rooms. So it's a lot to do the whole house at one time. Kids are in charge of vacuuming their own rooms. So in addition to keeping the pets out of my son's room, he vacuums his space, and then we take turns vacuuming the rest of the house throughout the week. And dusting, as number 1 was said, that will help minimize your pet dander. 2 things you can do with your animals is you can bathe your dog every other week. And then for your cat and your dog, I suggest brushing them at least once a week. That's going to help collect any excess hair that might fall out on its own, and you're minimizing that pet hair that could be collected around the house, creating extra dust bunnies under the furniture. Next, we have mold. So mold is something that scares everyone, and unfortunately it is part of the world. It's part of life. It grows wherever there is excess moisture. So when we create our homes and we try to make them as vacuum tight as possible, as clean as possible, but what happens sometimes is that those seals around the windows and the doors can loosen up over time. They deteriorate, In addition to those two places, mold really builds in the bathroom and the kitchen. I want to encourage you that when you take a shower, if you're going to use hot water, or really any water, warm water, hot water, anything above cold, you want to run that fan that's in your bathroom. It is not just there for when someone goes to the bathroom and makes the bathroom smell bad. Unfortunately, too many families think that. That fan is there to help eliminate the excess moisture caused by the warmth in the air. And that excess moisture can like basically settle into your ceiling. It can settle into the drywall. It can settle into the crevices of your shower and the corners and any extra cloths. Like if you have those towels that are more decorative than used every day or washed every week, moisture will sit in there and then mold will eventually accumulate. So run that fan not just when you shower, but up to 20 minutes after you shower. And a window in your bathroom, then I highly suggest cracking that open during your shower time. And again, leave it open up to 20 minutes after you shower. That will help get rid of any excess moisture that could build and create mold. Regularly check for any leaks in your sinks and your toilet, because water can build under the sink and you not know it. It can be behind things that you're storing. Actually, last week when I was preparing to come on a trip, I rarely use my travel bags for my toiletries. So they're under the sink in the back corner. Well, I got them out and there was actually a little bit of water there. And I noticed that the seal around my hot water for my side of the sink in the master bath was broken. Thankfully, it wasn't a lot. I was able to wipe it out clean, air it out well, and there was no mold buildup that I could find. And I'm just so lucky that I found it when I did, because like I said, I don't use those bags often. So God only knows how long that could have been. But checking those spaces regularly, especially your child's bathroom that they use, you want to make sure that there's no hidden leaks that could create mold down there. So run the fan in the bathroom, open a window when possible, and then back to the crevices that can seep in moisture over time. If you live in a very humid climate like Florida or pretty much anywhere on the East Coast during the summer, you're going to want to make sure that you are checking your caulk lines on your windows and the seals on your doors. Both of those things just wear out over time. It's part of home maintenance. If you're renting, it is also part of maintenance for you living there. I don't know what your agreement is with your landlord. It might be something that you need to take care of, and it's not too expensive to maintain. I highly suggest you do it regardless if they reimburse you or not, because it's your child's health. Number 4, we have bed bugs. Bed bugs are absolutely disgusting. People do not realize that it's in a lot of mattresses, and it's more notorious for shared beds and when you travel. So think Airbnbs, think hotels, hostels, but it can happen in your own home without you knowing it, especially if you bring in a gently used mattress or a used or a hand-me-down mattress. I'm guilty of that. I have taken mattresses from family in the past. Thankfully, they did not result in bed bugs to my knowledge, but I've learned over the years that regardless of the mattress you have, where it comes from or where you get it from, it is best to encapsulate your mattress, especially that of the child with asthma. So think of a pillowcase with a zipper. They make mattress cases with zippers. So all you do is you slip the mattress in, zip it up, and then it's encapsulated, it's covered. Anything that could exist, dust mites and bed bugs. I use a mattress cover for my son, the encapsulation that zips up, and a regular mattress cover on top of that, so that I don't have to wash the zipped up one as often. I do still wash it probably once a month. If you have a child with asthma, I highly suggest getting one of those that zips up. They make them in organic fabrics or bamboo. You want something that is going to be completely encapsulated, but you don't want any other allergens that could trigger your son's asthma. So make sure that it's an organic cotton and it wasn't treated with anything. Some bed linens can still be treated with flame retardants, and you want to avoid those at all costs. So when it comes to bed bugs, another thing that you can do is vacuum the mattress. So let's say you get a hand-me-down. The first thing you need to do, and it looks clean, it doesn't look like there's anything on it, but someone else has slept on that bed previously. Vacuum it really, really good. I invested about 2.5 years ago into a Serena vacuum. Serena is a vacuum with a HEPA filter, but it also has a water belly of a reservoir. So instead of it just going into a bag and then the air filtering coming out the HEPA filter, the dirt actually goes into a bucket of water. And it's amazing how much this vacuum can pull out of every crevice in my house. even if I just used it last week. So I kind of like seeing that all the dirt is coming up and going out, whether it's pet hairs, dust, or just dirty colored water because of whatever is settled in that space. So I use that vacuum on my mattresses, and I do it twice a year. Usually spring and fall are the two times of year that I do my deep cleaning. If you are in the place to buy a new mattress for your child, especially if they're recently diagnosed with asthma and you want to kind of start fresh in their space, I highly suggest getting an organic made mattress. So I did a lot of research about 2 years ago on one of the best mattresses to find, where I compared the quality, where it was made, how it was made, what was used to make it, that it is organic, the fibers, everything used in there was sustainably sourced, and that it was affordable. That was really important to me. I have 3 children, and we are still not done switching out new mattresses for everybody. The mattress that I suggest is Saatva, S-A-A-T-V-A. I'll put a link to that down in the notes, as well as the Serena vacuum that I mentioned. So finally, number 5. Number 5 is probably the grossest. And you could think, what is more gross than dead skin cells and dust mites and bed bugs? Well, I'll tell you, roach droppings. Roach droppings are more gross than those things, in my book anyway. So not many people know that if you get roaches in your house, you have to get that under control right away. Now, I do not believe in using pesticides. So it can be tricky sometimes in the spring and summer months when they want to come in. I make sure that all of my outside areas are sealed. If I do find a bug in my house, I will use vinegar and certain essential oils that deter them. So I clean my counters with that in the spring and the summer when we're more likely to get bugs because we have a lot of trees out back. And that's another thing. Keep the trees trimmed from around your house. You're less likely to get bugs coming in if they don't have a way to like drop in and crawl in. So if you have trees that surround your home, keep them trimmed so that they're not above your roof line and they're not too close to the perimeter of your house. If you do want to treat, be very careful what pesticides you decide to use and where you put them. You definitely don't want any pets or children accidentally getting near it, inhaling it, or God forbid, stepping on it and then bringing it into your home. So in addition to what you can do on the outside to eliminate the bugs from coming in, if you do get bugs on the inside, you want to make sure that you don't have anything that would entice them to be all over the house. So in my home, we have a rule of no food on the carpet and no food upstairs. So we try to minimize the space that food could be, and even beverages. Try to limit to the area where we eat most of our meals, or the kitchen area, or go outside if it's a nice day. The other thing that they like, even though it's not food related, they love moisture. So make sure that your kids are hanging up their towels, because if it creeps into your house from some corner, it's gonna find that space to nest, and you don't want that either. So hang up towels, don't leave anything damp wadded up on the floor, whether it's the bathroom or the bedroom or anywhere. And then finally, for the kitchen, which is where I'm hoping most of your food is kept and eaten, that's something that should be maintained daily if possible. Don't leave dirty dishes out overnight. Try to clean them up, or at least rinse everything off before you go to bed. Keep those counters clear from crumbs, and sweep the floor once a day if you can, or vacuum it. You just want to minimize anything that might make roaches come in, because those feces that they leave behind, and it's inevitable. I mean, they're going to find something to eat, they're going to poop, they're going to eat, they're going to poop. And that poop can land anywhere. It doesn't have to be where the food is, but you want to minimize anywhere they might go so that you can keep it cleaned up. But that poop triggers asthma attacks in more kids than dust mites do. But you want to minimize that as much as possible. And again, some people might see pesticides as a solution. I do not. I think that that could also make the situation worse if you have a child in the house with asthma. So to sum it up, to minimize the triggers for your child, you want to focus on these 5: dust mites, dander, mold, bed bugs, and roach droppings. That's all I have for you today. Thank you so much. I can't wait to see you again soon. Have a wonderful day.